This summons up a whole gang of people, and they are ready to throw down. So, and I'll see you all then. I don't want to say stressing me out, but it's making me feel anxious about trying to fit it all in. So the first thing I want to do is recap some things. I've been pinning comments on each episode to give a brief overview of what we're doing, as long as any corrections. So I would always suggest checking for a panel things that I want to touch on here at the round table. I mentioned I wasn't sure if you could switch between male and female with the mirror. You can, in fact. It's under body type, buff body, and slender body. So that does exist. Good catch, folks, in the comments section. Clarification on Fia and the Baldachian's Blessing. So when you let her hug you, you get the debuff. As I mentioned, you get the item, the Baldachian's Blessing, and I said, you use that, you die, debuff's gone. To clarify, the debuff is related to the Baldachian's Blessing. Until you've used that item, and as long as it sits in your inventory, you will have the HP debuff. After you've used that item, any will just wander the world and do whatever I want. To reiterate, I always suggest you should do a blind playthrough first. You're never going to get back your first experience with a new game like this, and they're very unique in that they promote just blind open world exploration. If you want to follow this guide, I would suggest following it on a second or a third playthrough when you want to try and get everything or get all the trophies or all the items. I would not suggest following this for your first playthrough at all, because it's going to ruin that experience. And if you just want to wander around and explore something and do it blind, that's great, but it may mess up the quest chain. And if it's your first playthrough, that's okay. I made tons of mistakes in my first playthrough. There were tons of things I messed up, and, that's just how it is. It's a game. You can always start over and play again. Let's talk about over here. As I mentioned, these doors kind of lead to some assassin-type stuff. Go ahead and unlock the first one. You should have plenty of stone sword keys. If you don't, as a quick reminder, you can buy some from this merchant down here. He sells some the isolated shack in Southwest. The second one leads to the Assassin's Prayer Book. The first one, which will be right here in this chest after we've opened the store, I already got it, upgraded it. But that gives us the Crevice Black Key Crossbow. As I mentioned, it'd be good to have a ranged weapon on the build just to be able to snipe stuff. I had a chance to go through and test out a couple of different crossbows and bows, and given the stat requirements that we already had to hit for our Bloodhound's Fang, this is going to be an excellent option for us. It has plenty of range, it shoots fast. Go on and pick that up. As for the second door, I will not be getting it. That is the Assassin's Prayer Book. There are two incantations. One of them is called Darkness, which just creates this cloud of darkness that your character can hide in, but as soon as you leave it, you're detected. So kind of pointless. The other one can reduce fall damage and quiet your footsteps, which is good if you're trying to walk around and backstab all the enemies. But effectively, as for fall damage, we get something later called Soft Cotton, which will just, break our falls. So very situational. Also, it's worth mentioning that doesn't prevent fatal fall damage. A fall that is fatal will still kill you. As some folks have also pointed out, we can use our rainbow stones to see if a fall is fatal. That's true. At the same time, I'm not going to constantly hop off my horse and throw down a rainbow stone. So, yes, you can do that if you're unsure, but it's not the best solution. A couple other things besides the assassin, we also still have the tree sentinel, which we haven't tackled him right yet. Remember, that was the guy on the horse right between these two graces. We're going to probably tackle him towards the end of this episode, but I think he's more challenging than Margit, in my opinion, just because he can reflect spells, so he can be very troublesome for casters. And if you're not comfortable with the horse combat yet, I think he can give some trouble to even the melee folks. Besides that, another thing, back here, when we kill this guy, the Wolfman should be chilling right here around this jail. If you talk to him, you'll get a Sombering level 2, which we can then use to upgrade the crossbow. So that's why my crossbow is now at, whatever it's at +2, even though I just picked it up. And I think that the bad stuff, you need both ink and faith. But fast, we're just going to grab a bunch of different things just to make getting through my inventory a little bit easier. And then you're going to turn off tutorial inside. So, as I mentioned, this episode we are going to finish up the Weeping Peninsula. I've already gone ahead and marked up our first places we're going to hit. First, we're going to go on over here. Then we're going to go on over here. Then we're going to go to the experiments. And we're going to make our way down towards that building. So, we can try different ways we can get to it. So, the easiest is going to be just right across there. Just a quick ledge. Kind of swing up just hop to the classical man part will be better. We could try and kill the rider, but let's see if we can kill the rider fast. So here, we went over force combat briefly. My melee people, big juicy heavy attack. See the damage that a lot of time goes. We probably could kill Jason on this one, but I just know traditionally he's one of the bigger stopgaps for new players. So killing him lets us get another nighttime for a boss down. And there we go. Barricade shield and the Night Rider flail. Good looking weapon. The 24 dex is needed, so that's something I'm going to use on this build. But let's go ahead and make it big time on these down. And don't believe there's a Denver in this region. There is. I'm certain that I have not found it. So head on up, and then we are going just northeast of the Crater Pocket Blade. That's that area where we killed that unique guy that had a gravity type sword and was doing some stuff that was ultimately inconsequential. You can see all the craters. Oh, there's a little crater right here. See, constantly, this is why I'm so hesitant about one, but there's so many little things that are tucked away, hidden in this world. It's very, very easy to overlook something. I got that flattened up. Drag right on down this. You can see there's a couple of enemies here. I'm terribly worried about any of them. So I'm alone. Let's look at this. You can climb up the ladders as well. I just find that to be a much easier route than dealing with all the other stuff that's in the way. The stuff. And this gives us some handle this stuff. Now, since we just picked up another ranged weapon, let's talk about the difference. 30 strength requirement, obviously very hefty. This is a one-handed ballista that can fire 3 bolts, so very strong. Also, of course, needs a huge stat requirement, so not my recommended weapon of choice for a lot of builds. Should be a lot of little caves. This is the Earth 4K. We get a Spelldrake Talisman, which is, kind of useless. That's the only thing of value in here. This floor is going to crumble, and you can see how it's all cracked, so just stay to the right of that. Up in the chest, go to the next, and we'll head on down. So in general, for these caves, these smaller ones, we're just going to run on in, kill a boss, grab the key loot. If there's anything in particular that is of major value, like some of them you might find very close, not some of them, but there's one in particular that you can pick up on the ball there. In cases like that, we'll grab it. For the most part, we're just going to focus on showing all the areas that are going to. Because there's so much stuff where you can wander around and, you go down halfway and there's 2 rats and then you get glowstones out of it. Which kind of begs the question of, like, can I really care enough to come into this cave for some glowstones? But I'm trying to get everything, I guess. So. Now this is a big bear. You want to off with that flask. Go off the stomach. I'm supplying all the little bears. Minor that's attacked by that other bear that I said don't try to fight yet. We get the levels here. You might be able to take them down, but it's probably not against weapon things, but as always, we suggest fighting anything. In fact, so far that in this game, getting bosses, so you actually need to kill. It's good thing bosses, good things to stories, stuff out, sort of main bosses, so they're like, I can't need this thing. You don't have to. Come back later. But it's a main boss. You don't have to. Come back later. They really give you a lot of freedom as you just explore the world here. So,
benches already for some AHL affiliate teams.
Margaret, I killed Margaret, that's fine. We'll get another different time. We go to kill the Tree Sentinel this episode. Y'all can't kill the Tree Sentinel. That's fine. Just get another time. That's the one thing I will say. A lot of people are always concerned about missing stuff. And as far as we know, there are no bosses that are visible in the game, with the exception of some mini bosses in the capital. You have to largely go through the capital and ignore them for that to become the case. Now in combat, so I was hoping to pull out the Bend Kingdoms and have a little Bend in the battle. And I still can't. I'm never going to tell you the shout. Very good is good. The big one is the only one we need to be concerned about. This thing has a stat. Not very good, but, it's a stat. It's a thing. You can get it. You can see she'll kill her regulars. I'm going to get rid of these guys so that I focus on the jellyfish. So the popping will stay. The first sorcery, unfortunately, isn't very good. I wish it were, but sadly, that's not the case. Switch full content of anything. So check it out to upgrade. That's okay. Might not lower. Swap the stuff up. It's also, we'll try out the guns just to show them off. So very good. So from here, we're going to work our way back over to the village. There's a shield we can pick up there still. It's not very good. I considered whether or not it was even worth taking the time to go over there, but we'll swing by and show it to y'all. Probably the better thing is after we get there, there's some other stuff that we can get. Some great check real fast. drop and you can get lightning strike right around here. Okay, so there's a, since this is the one tunnel, yes, that's the lightning strike is going to drop. Oh, yeah, I know, it's on the boss, so we're going to go. This is why you can never count. Whenever this happens, sorry, it's follow. Oh no. There's the other one over here. This other there, but it's other ones.
Let's go, guys. Let's go. Get that win.
Go crash your heart. So it's worse. You got combat work, of course. What I'm saying, these are the main bosses for us. It really is pathetic, doesn't it? Because it gets somewhere. It's so insane. Outskirts of the business. Yeah, that looks okay. But anyway, the big thing we want is like strike, which is a really useful weapon for and no, I did. I went too far. Yes. Did not go far enough. And still not going to go far. Well, that's what we need to get. It's right there in front of us. Let's mark that. And check what it's in. There he is. I always recommend discounting for these things. I feel like I get a little bit over Let's take a look at that real fast. Yeah, so that's it, not showing up. That's one. Should show that actually one. Because I'm not actually sitting in finish the problems actually. Anyway, now we're going to go into some more top and then the more of the land part. Here, I thought that was an actual door, but perhaps it wasn't. So, we did lightning strikes and lightning strikes to the impact. There you go, big folks. We got something for you. Thinking of the other, thinking of the lengthy skill that you can get. That's in the network test. So pick that one. That was super useful. The man, it's a big skill. It's summon down a lightning bolt. Obviously, that was a safe range option. Big started from the state. Yeah, big stuff out. The birds that are up in the air and whatnot, they just pop them off of the very easily. I mean, crossbows are fine and all, but once something starts moving through them, it's dodging all over the place. At that point, something with a little more lockup is always appreciated. Giant bolt of lightning that summons directly from the sky to hit flying bird. It's very convenient. Look at this. So in one tunnel, a lot of different upgrade materials you can get around here. In general, the rule of thumb is if you're gonna, the tunnels are always good to clear out because tunnels are going to be filled with upgrade mats, caves, and just different ones. So this is a tunnel. You can see how it has a distinct kind of like marked tunnels are always have the upgrade tunnels. That's when we got upgrade mats. We're going to get more here. Caves in particular are usually just going to be kind of short. We have some other caves. We went in Riverside Cave. That was a nice short one. Cave at the Bear was a nice short one. Caves are usually just going to be like a mini boss game or caves where patches once they're all very short. And then you have your catacombs. Now, catacombs are more similar to the caves. How caves, you're going to find your upgrade mats for weapons. Catacombs, you're usually going to find the upgrade mats for your summons. So, in particular, we go over here. We get smithing stones and sonder stones and caves, and we're going to get our Brave and Ghost Glove in catacombs. Excuse me, tunnels, not caves. Caves less good. Tunnels, catacombs, good. Cross. That's what we started. So it's just a safer way to come in here. Because you start running across that beam and that dude wakes up and you're in trouble.